next year I will have been here 40 years living
Wow.
here.
Yeah.
And so like now I've lived here now twice as long as I did, because I left home at 17 and I've never gone back to live. I spent my formative young adult years here, and that's what shaped me.
I'm attorney Howard Ankin, and we're here with another episode of Chicagoans You Should Know. And I'm here with Jeanne Sparrow. Hi, Jeanne.
Hey Howard, how you doing, cousin?
I'm doing great. So I'm just going to shut up now, and I'm going to have you interview yourself. It will probably go better.
I have done it quite a bit, but I don't know how to ask myself questions, and I think that would be kind of weird.
You know, you just sent me your new book, or it's probably like your old book, but it was new to me, and I loved it, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you reading it. Fearless Authenticity. You are fearless and you are authentic, and I love that.
So I'm a little nervous about how this interview is going to go because, you know, I feel like I'm going to be judged by like all the great stuff that you put in your book.
One thing I'm not is judgmental, because we're all where we are in whatever process we're in. One thing I've learned from being in this business, that judgmental doesn't get you anywhere. Like whether you're talking to somebody, I'm sure you know this as an attorney, like if you judge your clients, you wouldn't get anywhere with them. You don't build a relationship based on judgment. You build it based on each of us exchanging the real parts of ourselves. And that's what I try to do on the air. That's what I try to do in my real life. And that's why I wrote the book, because I feel like our world doesn't have enough of that.
Jeanne, let's let people know a little bit more about who you are.
Sure.
Tell me about Jeanne Sparrow.
Oh my gosh, what do you want to know? I've been in broadcasting since I was 17. I started in high school. I got my FCC license because I was on a daytime AM station. Remember those, remember when TV used to go on and off? Radio stations used to go on and off, and I used to have to turn the station off at night. It was my job my senior year of high school. It was the only job my mom would let me have, because she was like, I want you to do something that's interesting, because I don't want you to get attached to the money. I want you to get more attached to the work you're doing.
I think the town you grew up in was like 100 miles outside of New Orleans.
Yes, yes. A little town called New Iberia, Louisiana, where they make Tabasco sauce.
So in a town where they make Tabasco sauce, your mom is a
music teacher.
A music teacher of like serious kind of music.
Yep.
And they develop you who like can't be any more on the forefront of a big city. Tell me how that all comes together.
You know what? Your guess is as good as mine. I decided to come here to go to school. I came here to Northwestern, and that changed everything. I was 17 when I stepped foot in Evanston at Northwestern's campus. And you know what they don't tell you when you're in high school, or at least they didn't tell me, is that where you go to school is often where you stay, right? Unless you go back home. And I had no interest in going, even though I love where I'm from, I fell in love with Chicago. And it always worked out for me to stay here, to the point where there were a couple times where I had opportunities in LA, and every time I went out there, something didn't work. Like, I'm supposed to be here, worked through college, started doing traffic and all of that. 97 was when I was working with Steve Harvey and George Wallace doing mornings at GCI, seeing how much discipline was in being funny. Like, I used to think comedians just got up and told jokes and were funny. I didn't realize they had to work at it. And I got a front row seat to, the kings of comedy, Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, because they would all fill in when Steve was off, and then George came in and was the host after them. And just watching, all of them had their own process. Like, all of them were each very different in how they did it, but they were always working out material.
You were saying as a suggestion that like when we're having communication with people, you tell people what the punchline is first, and then you back it up later. I think you used like the line, you're like, girl, and then you do it.
So there's a lot of different ways. Like, one thing I learned from all the comedians that I've worked with, there's a lot of different ways to tell a joke. And I think the same thing is true of telling a story. You tell somebody something to get them interested first. and then you can go back and tell them how you got there. You know how in the on The Office we always remember, that's what he said, that's what she said. Like literally, that's the joke now. You don't even have to know what else was said for you to laugh because the punchline is the joke, right? So it just depends on what's appropriate for the moment.
You and me first met when I walked out onto a, studio at 26 North Halstead.
That's right, at the U.
At the U.
With your cousin, with your actual cousin.
Yes, but now you and me
now
are
we're
cousins.
Well, because Melissa's like myself. Melissa Foreman is your cousin. And I remember when you came, she was like, "You'll love Howard. He's a great guy. He's my cousin." And I was like, the guy from the billboards on the buses is your cousin? She was like, "Yeah, that's my cousin." She was like, "I think our moms are cousins," or I can't remember what she told me. But she was like, "You'll love him. He's a great guy." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then because Melissa's like a sister to me, you became my cousin too, because that's how we do in Louisiana.
And I got to tell you, treated me that way like from the first day I met you, and I love it.
And you've treated me like that too. Like that's the thing I love the most about you, Howard, is that Missy's family, so we're family, and that's how it works at home. If you're family with somebody and you meet their family, then all of a sudden you're their family too. Yeah. And I think that's what people need when they're having trouble and stuff. So thank you for being a sponsor of the Jeanne Sparrow radio program at V103, and thank you for helping people, because I think there are a lot of situations where people need help and people take advantage of that, and what they really need is a friend.
With the zest of life that you have, would you have spent 6 years writing the book that you wrote again?
Oh my God. Yes, because I am really proud that I was able to organize my thoughts and stick to something long enough to make that happen. That is one of the hardest things I've ever done, is write that book. And because I noticed especially when I started consulting and speaking and things like that, I noticed that people were having the same kind of problems everywhere, and they were having problems with something I knew something about. So I wanted to organize it in a way they could use it, in a way that would be easy for them, and something that would cause them a little less pain in their lives. Like, communicating is something we have done since the minute we were born. Like, the first thing we do after we take our first breath is scream when we enter this world. That is a communication. And we don't stop until the day we die, regardless of how verbal we are or not. We as humans are built for each other. We're not built to be here by ourselves, but for us to be here together, we have to communicate. From caveman days when they were just grunting at each other, they got stuff done because they were communicating with each other. And I think that the better we get at it, because we take it for granted, the better we get at it, the better we'll be at it.
And I think the foundation of all that is knowing yourself, I think 100%. Is what you're saying.
100%. Because you have to know you to be able to share you with others.
I read the book a little bit. I loved it, by the way.
Thank you. I'm so happy, Howard.
I just have one important question to ask you.
Yes, dear.
If someone is injured in an accident and they need a personal injury attorney,
they need to call 312-6-million.
I love
My
it, Jeanne.
clay cousin, Howard Aiken.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for being here today. And thanks for everybody for listening on another episode of Chicagoans You Should Know with Jeanne Sparrow.